LDT webinar series. Today we have DeKita Rembert, Dr. DeKita Rembert, speaking with us about her experience in UX and how to get prepared. Thank you so much for joining us today, DeKita. I'm super excited for your talk, and I'll let you introduce yourself and take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, I'm Dr. Rembert, Dr. DeKita Rembert. Thank you so much, Lisa, for having me. Awesome. Glad to be here. I am a senior UX researcher and designer at Flexion, and I'll just be talking about my experience in tech, talking a little bit about I'm gonna go to the next slide, about my background, about my day-to-day preparation, just key lessons that I learned along the way that came to me, as I was preparing for these slides, and of course, questions if you all have any. So again, welcome, and feel free at the end to, um, let me know your questions. So moving on, starting to talk about myself. I was born in Macon, Georgia. My journey was non-linear. I started out in IT at Fort Valley State University. And one of the things was I was kind of not getting the uh, experience I wanted, because one of the things that I was mainly doing was going to different places, and cutting on their printers because they wasn't working. So once I figured out what IT was, and then started, the robotics team was developed at my school. That sparked my interest and my passion for research. So I started leading that robotics team, and people would always see me around campus with the Roomba looking robot under my arm, and my love for research just grew from there. And this picture is me with the snack bot at Carnegie Mellon at the Robotics Institute. From the team that I was on, the experience that I had and the spark that I had with research led me to that internship, which also led me to graduate school to explore research further, because I love working on problems that not too many know how to work on them, if they have worked on them at all. So that's where my research and working on problems began. Before graduating with my PhD in 2021, I had a few internships, two at Intel, which I did an education segment associate internship. This is where Intel had available chips and devices, and they wanted to know how it fit into the educational space. So that was a very, very interesting internship. My first internship at Intel was a system analysis intern, where I conducted internal research on the technologies that they used in meeting rooms, just to identify bottlenecks and improve overall meeting effectiveness. I also did a internship at Harris Corporation in Florida, for independent research and development, where I was working on programming swarms of robots. Very interesting development internship. Didn't know at the time what I was getting myself into. It was completely new, as far as the thing that I was working on and the programming language that I was working on, but I got through it, and got some things going on there. So that was very fun. I also did some research at Morehouse College, and UF while I was graduating, that focused on just helping more junior developers with Python programming for tools that detected uh, object recognitions in Instagram videos. Of course, I did some ed tech, which I will talk about in the next couple of slides, and broadening participation in computing. So just a little bit about my background, and a few of the lessons that I learned with just the internships and going through grad school is following your interests. They pave the way forward. As you can see, I didn't start with computer science, but somehow I landed internships programming, because I would teach myself these things, and I was available to learn these things, which leads me to my second point: do new things afraid. You're not going to be the best at everything, but you will learn what you like and what you don't like, and the types of things you like to do, and you will meet new people, network, and that's one of the number fours is definitely networking, because if there has been at least one or two experiences, if not more. I feel like that's more, and I'm just not saying all of them, but a lot of my experiences and opportunities came from networking, like this one. So being able to do this, and just broadening your knowledge, and learning. Also, user research extends beyond websites and consumer products to address diverse needs across all users and industries. So anything that someone is using, whether it's a pen, whether it's a mouse, it needs, there's a type of interaction, and we are needed in these spaces. So always keep your mind open to new opportunities that we may not be in yet, but we're absolutely needed. So, for my dissertation, I developed a tool and evaluated a tool that used language modeling to generate math word problems based on users' career interests. I don't believe I mentioned it before, but I graduated with my PhD in University of Florida in human-centered computing, and that's, long story short, psychology and computer science mix, and it's computer science focused on the social good and focused on the interaction that individuals have with different, all kinds of types of technologies. And here is my wonderful, wonderful family on photo day when I was graduating and threw up the deuces to University of Florida finally. So one of the key lessons here is that if you're interested in getting into research, start by reading other people's work. Seriously, don't skip out on that part, because that's where you develop your questions. That's where you see how others think. You structure their ideas and approach problems that will help you develop your own voice and direction. The reason why I chose my dissertation, not only reading about the different systems that have been developed to focus on the interests of students, but I myself was wondering, and when I was in elementary and middle school, why am I doing this math? When am I ever going to see this math? So not only use what you read, but focus your reading on the things that you have questions about, or the things you have concerns about, because things that make you upset or engaged are some of the questions that you could be answering. So you don't have to read everything, just explore topics you're curious about and what stands out to you. And if you reach out to me, I can send you the link, or you can go searching for my dissertation if you're interested. It shows up on Google Scholar with my name, DeKita Moon. So, the first after graduating, my first job was at Answer Lab, which is a research consult agency, and I was a user research in the rapid research labs, which means the research was very, very rapid. I think it took 1 or 2 weeks for each of the research projects that we were doing. The section that I was focused on in Answer Lab was social media and gaming group. One of the coolest experiences that I've ever had. Conducted almost 500 one-on-one interviews to gauge user satisfaction and inform product design process of top companies, including HBO, Airbnb, Facebook, Salesforce, and others. One of my proudest moments was we were working on a client product to understand the user's expectations for a virtual assistant with the glasses. and it shaped their approach of their questions that they had in regards to how users will use their products, and what were their assumptions that users would make when using their products. And it's awesome to see some of those products just out and about in the wild, including the glasses here, including on HBO, we did a research to understand how people felt about seeing their themselves in some of the sections on the website. As you can see here, there is some Black voices, Asian and Pacific, just different diverse communities within these websites. And when the Facebook crashed, I guess for lack of better words, a few years ago, I lost this job. And one of the things that I wanted to let you all know that, don't stress over layoffs, stay focused in cultivating your skills and interests. And of course, your network, and also don't burn good bridges. One of the reasons for both of those is during the layoff, I had a chance to use new tools, and write this book that I have down here, after my daughter, after have conceiving my daughter. So I wrote a book with her in mind, and also being able to also work with this agency again. They reach out to me, and if I'm able to help them on certain things, I'm able to. So you just don't slam the door on people that doesn't work out, because more than likely it's going to work out on your end and their end as well, which includes, just building your brand within and outside of the company. Those are some of the best ways to network, and even at school as well. So what I currently do is I am a senior UX researcher and designer at I'm sorry, this one is for Answer Lab, excuse me. Looking at the wrong one here. So again, this one is focused kind of on what Rapid Labs was like. You can see some of the responsibilities that I had, including recruitment coordination, preliminary research on the product and stakeholders to know what are the age groups, what kind of societal norms, for lack of better words, do these people meet, so that we recruit the right people, right? Um, Also kickoff meetings with stakeholders, just making sure I understand their goals, test materials, developing those, as well as research plans, walkthrough of the test materials, of course, the session days with the users, which includes moderating sessions, note taking, the synthesis of these things, from what I gather from their feedback, as well as the end of day debrief with the stakeholders to let them know how the sessions went, which include the summaries for those sessions for that day. This also includes, after all the sessions, a summary of delivery. So building those reports, which was PowerPoints, and making recommendations, and of course coordinating with designers and the program managers, and IT to get those recordings out to the stakeholders. So it's not just asking people questions, it's making sure, your calendar is set up, is coordinated, and you're just staying on top of things. So um, there's also, of course, the presentation, getting that out, as well as independent, um, um, just doing that presentation for the stakeholders. So um, at Answer Lab, the study types that were mainly done, or that I mainly did, was moderating usability testing. So one-on-one sessions with users, or potential users, a diary study, moderating cart sorting. So if they have wacky UIs that have so many different categories and subcategories, of course, that's when that is very, very helpful. The majority study tools that was used was Google Spreadsheets. There were times that I tried different things in order to figure out what makes the most sense for me with note taking, and I found that spreadsheets work best for me in those type of experiences. But it's good to figure out what tools work best for you, and how you can move about in the tools that you're using as well, while the users are just continuing to talk. PowerPoint, Zoom, Figma, and Optimal Workshop was used for the card sorting tool. So the soft skills that are needed when all of the responsibilities that you've seen, one of the soft skills includes moderating with just being neutral, not showing any kind of your experience or your feelings about the particular product. So just making sure that they don't feel like they have to feel a certain way. Handling silence, that was one of the things that was kind of difficult for me because I'm just like, okay, am I supposed to say something, or they're gonna or wait for them to talk? And a lot of times they're just trying to get their thoughts together. So asking non-leading questions, of course, that comes also with just being neutral. Managing time with participants of all kinds. I remember this one participant, if I'm not mistaken, like they were getting ready and brushing their teeth in their bathroom while I'm asking them questions. So you just have to speed it along and get sometimes even cut some of the questions off, and knowing what those main questions are that would fulfill the goals of the project and what they're trying to ask. Translating research to business needs, um, just knowing what they're needing, and being able to highlight what are those insights are in order to answer the questions that they have and the needs that they have. Of course, presenting to clients, relationship building, and client management to support repeat engagement. So just making sure that, especially for this particular aspect as a consulting agency, that these were people in that were using the rapid labs that would go in and out. They have this project, they have a prototype, they want to see what people feel about it, and we give them the insights, and that's it. Well, one of the things we wanted to do is say, okay, once this is finished, this is another, part of the system that you may want to look into, or we saw this come up in our insights. This is something that we might need to critique a little bit. So just building those relationships, wherever they come from, and supporting the engagements that's needed to fulfill the requirements and beyond. So because of this rapid research, it was quick, actionable user feedback, just providing fast insights on prototypes, concepts, and early ideas, just identifying different things and what works best for users, new ideas and refinements based on user real behavior, and then validating or reversing decisions again early because they were in and out of the early part of these prototypes and seeing whether or not they work. Due to the nature of this rapid research, we wasn't able to measure the KPIs and the long-term metrics, which was sad for me, but at the same time, we know that based on the insights of the users, that what we were doing was still validating, and they told us, how they felt about those particular things that was going out. So um, some of the advice that I would give, just be naturally nosy or curious, whatever you want to call it these days, and question assumptions. And again, this is just being a critical thinker and thinking outside of the box. Also, build a portfolio with process and not just findings. They really want to know, where did you mess up at, and what would you do differently, and not just hearing about what you did and what was the results of it. People want to see how you think and the way you think. Show how you make those decisions. Get comfortable interviewing real humans. One of the things too that I felt like my portfolio wasn't up to par when it came to UX research, as you saw all of the things that I was a part of, but UX research was not one of those, like, my CV wasn't very, very, very strong in it. So one of the things that I did was go on the App Store. I looked up one app that focused on pill reminder, and I interviewed my family as well as got the feedback from the App Store, and from there, those were the problems that I was solving in the solution building that I was able to put in my portfolio. So even if you're not working on a project, or if you feel like you don't have that much information in your portfolio and your experiences, there's always things out there that you can work on. And the information and feedback is free. That's great. Um, so practice analysis is 60-70% of the job. Being able to know what you know based on the feedback that you get, as well as the revisions and the reiterating. Learn a few go-to methods deeply. Again, I would know which one takes one-to-one interviews versus a diary study because of what the user or what the stakeholder was needing. So just knowing those methods deeply and why you choose them and when you choose them and why. Improve storytelling, as well as understanding, again, stakeholder priorities. So that's just a few of the advice things. And yeah. So now I am at Flexion. I'm a senior UX researcher and designer. Flexion is a government subcontract agency. I work on a specific project that focuses on the Head Start enterprise system. This system is a internal system that the recipients and OHS communicate, or Head Start, leaders of Head Start communicate back and forth, making sure funding gets sent out there, things of that nature. Um, so Flexion in general just collaborate with sectors in the government to address technological challenges, such as the one that we have for Head Start Enterprise System. So my work focuses on the upkeep of and modernization of HSCS, which, if I'm not mistaken, it's as old as 2009, if I'm not mistaken. So you can imagine the updating needs of this system. And so we have our work cut out, and it's fun and exciting, and it's helping students and pregnant women around the world ensure that they have the education that they need, as well as the health things that they need. So that's what the Head Start enterprise system does, making sure that the nation, get the resources to the people. So again, I talked about what HSCS is. Again, this supports critical decision making and operations for programs nationwide that help students who need the different resources, health and education resources, as well as pregnant women. So key contributions that I make here is conducting UX research and design to improve system usability and efficiency. I'll get into more of that. That includes interviews with different stakeholders, including central office users, including recipients, just to understand and uncover their pain points. Ensuring human centered design principles guide system enhancements, and collaborating with cross-functional teams to implement sprints efforts. I can say that I see a turn in the groups and more cross-functional teams knowing how to communicate with people who may not understand UX and may not even support UX and what we do. So that's also an important skill to have, to basically be able to effectively communicate the what you're doing to team members and stakeholders. So day to day in what I do, one of the first things when I was understanding the complexity of this program, very simple assistant that I created. What I did was develop a OpenAI powered assistant that utilized project knowledge, documents, including SOPs and manuals, excuse me, to provide accurate and efficient information on HSCS programs. So long story short, we had a box folders full of information, full of all kinds of documents. I did not know where to start, but instead I'm thinking, okay, how can I help myself as well as my team uncover some of the things that are in these documents when we're rolling, a team is rolling off and we're rolling on to this system. So this was one of the things that was not necessarily a win for the stakeholders in OHS, but and it is a win, but not one that is visible to them, because we're able to get questions answered a lot more efficiently and faster than we would just trying to find text within a whole bunch of box documents. So just solutions aren't just for project needs. And product needs, but team challenges also require attention. And this really helps you get a W on your team as well as for your team. And then you're able to communicate that to the larger teams around of what did you do and things of that sort. So that gets you gold stars. And provide value to stakeholders where it counts. Your stakeholders aren't just those who are using the products, but also those who are helping you to develop and create these products as well. Accessibility was done. We did a manual audit for the screens that recipients commonly use just to see how well the current design supports people with just different needs and abilities. And we use several tools, followed the WCAG or the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0 AA standards to guide the review. And these guidelines just help ensure that digital experiences are usable for everyone, not just people with disabilities. And from this audit, we identified some critical accessibility issues. Some of the biggest ones was low color contrast between text and background, which makes content, of course, hard to read. Inform inputs just weren't accessible. So these are the things that can um, um, really impact the user's ability to complete their tasks, and became important areas to address moving forward. So this is also just important when you're not sure the necessary things to do. Accessibility is one of those things that can be overlooked very, very easily. So there are tools that you can see up here, Axe Dev tools, which are can be embedded within let's see, Chrome and things of that nature, just to make it easier on yourself. Lighthouse is also one of those, as well as color contrast analyzer. So these are certain tools you can use that you don't have to be an expert on accessibility to use. All righty, moving on. Another thing in the life of a UX researcher is heuristic evaluations. We So this means looking for low-hanging fruit and the usability issues that are easy to spot, but often have a big impact on the user experience. And the goal wasn't just to critique the system, but to provide actionable insights that make the application easier to use and more effective for the people interacting with it. So just not accessibility in a sense, but actually it is it is accessibility and interaction of just getting those things out that cause aggravation that people may just overlook. So um, for this project, just use Jacob Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics as the framework. And they're a standard to a set of guidelines that just help evaluate whether an interface supports users in the right ways. We found a lot of major and catastrophic issues that showed up. So there was remediation efforts that we could focus on, and these just help guide the next steps to improving the system and form how we approach follow-up research and prototyping for the modernization. All righty. So right now, my current day-to-day work is really focused on turning insights into prototypes. We have done these heuristic evaluations. We have done surveys, and we're using that to design, just focused on these insights into prototypes using Claude. And I'm summarizing the research into acceptance criteria for the designer and design iterations. From there, I'm taking Claude output and entering them into Figma to make adjustments based on what users really need in upcoming research with users. So always use the tools that are out there, understand what tools that are out there, because it's hard to know if you just aren't keeping up with the times. And these are very effective and are suggested and recommended to us to use so that we can do fast iterations and improve the efficiency and the speed of the way we work. All right, so preparation, just some more advice for you here. Set yourself up for success. Again, network strategically, and that just comes with just adding people on your LinkedIn sometimes, reaching out to them if something comes up, or if you see something, congratulating them and wishing them well, things of that nature. When you leave a particular place, you should already have people that you've worked with on your LinkedIn, so you could say, hey, let's keep up, or it was great working with you, just to keep those lines of communication open. Again, my previous, actually this job, it was just me reaching out to people, and one of my colleagues uh told me about the job, and that's how I got it. So networking is so very, very, it's not half of the job, but it's a big part of it. You don't have to be agreeable, but at least be likable, at the very least be knowledgeable. People love to work with people that they just enjoy being around and working around, and make it easier on yourself and on your teammates that you're going to see all day anyway. And most of the day you spend more time with them than you do with some of your family members sometimes. So just be likable and enjoy what you're doing. Be teachable, but also be able to teach others. Be confident and capable of listening with humility, because that's the way you learn. I tell people all the time that as much as I was in college, I still am student in some rooms, and teachers in a teacher in others. So it's good to always be have both of those sides. Also, one of the major things that I've learned is document your work with space for reflection. You never know when, especially during times like these, you never know when uh, um, you get laid off or things of that nature, and you've done so much and accumulated so many things, and all of a sudden all that stuff is wiped off, and you're like, okay, now you're trying to remember what you did and put it on your CV. But when those things come up, just send yourself an email, send yourself a text message, or however you want to document that work, so that you don't miss out on those learning experiences as well as communicating the experiences that you've done and the things that you've done. Um, excuse me, and again, also be an independent thinker. When teachers, I was so amazed that someone said this. I think it was at the uh, at the AETC conference that she tells her students why to write these paragraphs on the in the digital learning platforms, and I never understood that when I was in college, but now that I know, that was training grounds for being an independent thinker, for stating your ideas, stating your thoughts, because when you're in rooms, it's not going to be as big as a classroom. You're probably going to be the only interaction designer or the UX researcher, or whatever in that space is for you to cultivate that skill. So being an independent thinker is definitely necessary. Also, practice makes perfect. Read job postings and tailor skill development. Whatever you're trying to accomplish, they literally are telling you what they're looking for. So that's a good way just to cultivate and do that personal development. Again, stay updated, stay learning what those latest tools are, as well as once you're starting to use those tools or you're starting to develop, stay iterating. Think fast, don't get too hung up on um user research, even though it's definitely necessary. I cannot say that enough without being a user research, but also don't get too much stuck in the research where nothing is being developed. And that way, a lot of users I've found, they can definitely tell you what they don't like, especially if they're seeing it. So a lot of times some visuals are just better for users to see and say, no, that's not it. I know I don't know what it is, but that isn't it. And then you're able to again quickly iterate. Research methods, again, know what to choose, or know when to choose what and why. Just have your toolkit available at all times and just know what you know. Conduct, again, independent research. Just uh, uh, get your experience ready, understanding again what the job postings are asking, can't talk, asking for, and cultivate those skills, including whatever you have to do on your own to be able to do that, whether it's small or big. um, you know a, a, a little goes a long way. Learn how to communicate insights effectively. That's a no-brainer, just knowing what you know, what you saw, and what users think. You're literally the microphone or the mouthpiece of the user. So even if it's you get maybes, or you get just understanding how to communicate what those maybes are, and then allowing yourself to think of other options because you're getting the maybe from users, if that makes sense. So just being able to communicate insights effectively, even if they don't know exactly what they're needing, and again, iterating so that they can see those different options. So awesome, awesome. And thank you. Any questions? And also, when you have a moment, if you're seeing this even from the video, give me a few minutes of your time. Fill out this quick survey I put together. Your feedback really helps me tailor this presentation and continue supporting students like you. And so I appreciate it. Yeah. Ready for questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Rembert. This was incredible. You you shared so many valuable tips and lessons learned. I found myself saying, "Yep, yep,
Been there,
yep,
done
been
that.
there." And
Absolutely. Got plenty of those
I
t-shirts, I'm sure.
right, yeah. Well, at some point, I'm going to start selling the t-shirts, but Thank you. This was so valuable. I really appreciate it. For
Absolutely.
those of you that are watching at home, yes, please send in feedback. We find we learn eventually that feedback is a gift, because even um, all of it helps us move towards success. So thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording and then we can have an open discussion together. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.